Take them or leave them, but by 2020, the millennials will make up a third of all adults in the United States.
You may know one, millennials lacking life skills like cooking, budgeting, or time management.
They're not interested in owning a house.
Many millennials say buying a home these days is just not an option.
She is calling millennials the burnout generation.
According to a new study, millennials say that the term snowflake is in fact harmful to their mental health.
Millennials hate this shit. They hate it.
Welcome to another episode of Millennial Malarkey. I'm Adam.
I'm Alec.
I'm Andrew.
And it's your boy.
I'm Jesse.
Oh no. How are we doing today, boys?
We them boys, so we doing good.
I was in a great mood until about 3 seconds ago, and now I'm kind of scared.
Scared for what?
Scared from whatever that outburst was Jesse had. Are you okay, man?
Okay.
Okay. Just make sure we
How
have
are
a
you,
doctor
Adam?
follow up and make sure you don't have an aneurysm.
It's the silent killer, Lana.
Adam, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, feeling fresh, feeling good. Just got back from a run, showered. Now I'm here with my 3 favorite people in the entire world.
Oh,
I know, right?
I'm blushing. Stop.
Thanks.
Don't
All
actually
right.
stop. Keep going. For 40 minutes, tell us how much you love us.
Oh, okay. Don't think I can do that. I think I can just fill whatever time we've had now, which is exactly about 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Sweet. That works.
Yes.
I'll take it.
Regardless, do I have a story for you guys?
Do tell
I
me.
don't know. Do you?
I do have a story.
Hey, Alec.
Andrew, I love you.
I love you too, Alec. You know what? Let's make this 40 minutes just Alec and I telling each other how much we love us and each other.
Yeah, sure.
Since
Andrew.
Adam's unwilling to.
Andrew.
Yes.
Do you know how much I love you?
I don't. Please tell me.
I tell you what. I'll think of a good metaphor or analogy or something that can describe it, because right now I can't put it in words.
Oh my God. Well, do you know how much I love you?
I don't. Tell me.
Enough to interrupt Adam about his story and totally get us off topic.
I've noticed that, and I definitely feel the same.
I'm glad.
Love you so much that I'm willing to keep talking, even though it's irrelevant, and just, make sure that it annoys Adam enough and he can't tell his story.
Whenever I hear you tell me how much you love me, I get these butterflies in my tummy, but they're the good kind of butterflies, not the kind that your girlfriend rips to shreds.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a story for after Adam. So Adam,
I thought we were just going to keep going.
Okay. So for those of you who may or may not know, I volunteer at the hospital, more specifically in the emergency room. So mostly I work at triage. I'll greet patients that walk in, help them get checked in and blah, blah, blah. And I'll help the nurses shuttle the patients back to their rooms in the emergency room. And so you have to deal with people in the emergency room, which is not at all fun because everybody thinks that they are the most important person whenever they walk through those set of doors, right?
Yeah.
Regardless, I was sitting at the desk and I was talking to one of the registration people. We were having a conversation. I don't even remember about what. And this girl walks up to us and with the most serious look in her eyes, she looks at me and she says, "Did you poison my water?"
Well, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know anything about any water, and I was like, I don't think anybody
What's
poisoned
water?
your. I was like, I don't know about. She goes, okay, and then she goes over to the security guard, and she's like, she says, "Did you see my water? Did anybody poison my water?" He goes, "Ma'am," he goes, "I don't know anything about your GD water. I don't know." Anyway, so I was like, that's really weird. So I told the RN, the nurse, the triage nurse, and she's like, "Oh, that's we'll call her Stacy." She goes, "That's Stacy. She's always in here, and she's like cuckoo in her head." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She goes,
Not
"Yeah,
cuckoo
she
for
can't."
Cocoa Puffs?
No, she's not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She's cuckoo for
She's
water,
the bad kind of cuckoo.
poisoned water. I don't know. It's really odd. So it gets weirder. So she was at a different hospital the previous night, and she got released. And within 24 hours of being released from that hospital, she checked herself into the hospital I was volunteering at. And so she had just been released from our hospital, and she was in the waiting room, I guess, waiting for her ride. When she started the Spanish Inquisition about who poisoned her water.
No one ever.
Well, so are you guys
Inquisition.
worried that she has like schizophrenia or something?
I'm not really sure. Because she
sounds like a broken arm to me.
Yeah, I don't know why she checked in the first place. I don't know
just
why.
going off of the symptoms you've presented, anyways, it seems like a broken arm.
Yes, absolutely broken arm. Your dad would be so proud. So anyway, about 30 more minutes, and she's harassing myself, the registration, and the security guard about who poisoned her water. Did you poison my water? She comes up on probably 10, 15, 20 separate times in a 30-minute period to me, asking me about poisoning. I mean, eventually I just ignore her.
Yeah.
Because she's asking the same thing. I'm giving her the same answer. And the security guard's just ignore her. She's like, her ride's coming or something like that. So then she asked me how to use the phone. I show her. She starts calling her dad, I guess, and she starts crying because she spent all of her money coming to the hospital or something about that because 7-Eleven poisoned her hot dog.
Of course.
Yes.
Well, that's what you get, honestly, for going to 7-Eleven and not QT. Just throwing that out there.
In Virginia, the Quick Trip is not a thing.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, that's right. You're in Virginia right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
But quick
it back.
side note, you cannot beat 7-Eleven's apple fritters. Best apple fritters in the world.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. So this time, 30 minutes pass, and she's getting rowdier and rowdier. She's speaking up. And she's like, I'm not yelling, but she's kind of yelling. So at this point, the triage nurse calls the charge nurse. For those of you who don't know, but the charge nurse is in charge of the entire ER.
Sure.
They basically run everything and, tell everybody what to do. So charge nurse comes down and was like, I'm not admitting you again. It's ridiculous. We just released you. We think you're fine. Go away, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts crying and she says, she goes, I've had thoughts about harming myself.
Is she just looking for a place to stay for the night or something?
Well, the thing is it's not very cold here. It's I was running in shorts and a t-shirt.
Right.
Tonight.
It just seems like she's trying to stay there as long as possible. So I didn't know if that was the ultimatum she was trying to get.
Yeah. Exactly. That's my first thought. And the charge nurse rolled his eyes and he's like, you can't just ignore that.
Right.
Being in the health profession. So he's like, okay, Stacey, hold on here. I'm going to go get a doctor so we can get a quick, his opinion on whether or not you need to be admitted again for, psychiatric evaluation. So 30 minutes pass again. And this time she's yelling, you need to take my vitals. You need to take my vitals. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. My chest is caving in. I can't feel my hands. I can't feel my feet. Just ridiculous stuff. So at this point, the security guards, Valen tell her to leave the building and go outside because she's yelling in the waiting room, and people are basically staring.
Yeah.
So we have one of the security guards outside with her, making sure she's not entering the building. And at this point, we have a caseworker, one of the social workers, trying to find some funds to get her a cab home or something like that. A place not at the hospital. And at this point, the charge nurse and the doctor, I saw them walk outside and then they walked back shaking their heads 5 minutes later. So I'm assuming that, they determined that she was safe to go home. But like another 30 minutes go by, and I can hear her inside of the building as she's yelling, "My chest is caving in, my chest is caving in, I can't breathe, I'm having a heart attack. Somebody poisoned my water." Just going on and on and on.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I know. It went on for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Like, how old was this lady? Like, in appearance anyways? Like, roughly?
Probably 40, 50 years old.
So not like totally 1 foot in the grave or anything like that?
No.
Did she look homeless or anything like that? Or was like she otherwise well put together?
A bit raggedy.
Okay, sure.
My assumption is, and this is literally basing off of her appearance, so it could totally be wrong. But my assumption is that she was staying at a friend's house. This is from like what I could gather from her phone calls, half of a phone conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But like she was staying at a friend's house, and that because her dad kicked her out because her dad didn't want her anymore or something like that. Yeah. She was not in a good place.
Yeah, clearly.
For sure. But so at this point she's like running into the building and like trying to run back into the triage room, while the nurse is like taking people's vitals and triaging them. Screaming at the nurse to take her vitals because she can't breathe. And like me and the security guard take her arm in arm, and basically drag her outside. And at this point, the charge nurse says, call the police. Because I guess they've been like threatening her with, if you don't stop this, we're going to call the police. We're going to call the police. So they called the police on her. And that was when my shift ended. And as I was driving away, there were 3 cops surrounding her. And she was crying on a bench into the social worker's arms, basically. So I don't know what her fate was, but I'm assuming she spent the night in jail.
You should have stuck around to find out.
Yeah, I know. But that happened last Tuesday. So crazy, right?
Well, hopefully you don't have another run-in with her again.
No. Well, I've been volunteering there for a little over a year now, and that's the craziest thing. Yeah. Craziest thing I've seen. There's some pretty weird things that come through the doors of that ER too.
He called people weird things just now. Did you catch that?
I mean, it is true.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have anything that weird going on. Who's got something weird?
I don't know. I got a weird toe fungus growing.
Okay, I'm sorry. What?
Well, it was a joke. I don't have any toe fungus.
All right.
Promise.
Remember to spay and neuter your pets and to take daily showers, people, because clearly somebody forgot.
Wear your shower shoes.
No, if it's in your own shower, clean your own shower.
What about shower shorts, complete with an attached wallet?
Nice. I see you pulling that Scrubs joke to attach it to the current joke as well as the hospital story. Well done.
Right? Thank you. I thought it was. And then I, for a split second, thought, oh, shoot, maybe they haven't seen that episode.
Oh, no. I've seen the entirety of Scrubs like multiple times.
I have not seen
9th
Scrubs.
Season's the best season.
Let's not.
The best part about Scrubs is when JD and Turk aren't in it.
Aren't they the entire cast?
Not in the 9th season, they're not.
No.
Oh yeah, I know they left and then like they did one season and then dropped it because
it was awful.
Yeah, it was just bad. Adam, you were actually the one that got me into that show.
Yeah, it is a great show. We used to my family would buy the DVDs.
Yeah.
And we'd watch them whenever we drove out to Virginia to the beach because it's like a 25 hour drive. Blah.
That's about a season of TV. That makes sense.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, man. Yeah, I haven't seen that show since they took it off Netflix, though I did get Hulu recently, and I'm pretty sure it's on there. So
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, so as soon as I'm done catching up with Bob's Burgers, and then I'm going to finish Brooklyn Nine-Nine after that, since I've never seen that, I'll probably get back on that Scrubs train and rewatch some of that. Because I've seen The Office and Parks and Rec way too much in the past year. So,
Dum dum, dum dum, dum dum, dum dum.
okay, I was wondering what you were doing, but then you kicked in with the rest of it.
Oh, you can't just start off with dum ba da da dum. That's the Parks and Rec theme song for any of you whack jobs out there who don't know it.
Parks and
Whoa,
Rec,
with the
Parks and Rec
language.
is better than The Office.
100% agree.
It is not better than The
I
Office
disagree.
until season 8 and 9 of The Office. Once Michael leaves, the show is over.
Dude, no, Robert California is the best character on all of The Office.
Ugh.
I will fight about that. But I'm with Jesse that Parks and Rec is not better than The Office. Except
It's a freaking close
the
second.
entirety.
Also, watch Mad Men, everybody who listens to this podcast. Treat yourself. And Parks and Rec joke. And watch Mad Men.
I feel like I should watch that because it's like advertising, and I almost minored in that. So
It would be cool. It's a great show.
Wait, what is Mad Men about?
Well, let me tell you. Okay, so Mad Men takes place. No, I'll keep it short. Mad Men basically takes place in the '60s, and it's about Mad Men means Madison Avenue for New York City, and Madison Avenue is where all the advertising firms are that sell products. So advertising kind of made its debut in that era. Well, not in that era, but we had like war posters and like propaganda and everything, and we've had newspapers for a long time, and like you would have an advertisement, but like big flashy ads and big billboards and stuff like that. That was all coming out, and it was like, oh, you can plaster your face anywhere, and try to sell your stuff.
Listen here, kid. You're gonna be big.
You're gonna be big,
The face,
kid. Yeah,
the face is gonna be all over the billboards.
And everybody talks like that. That's correct. And so basically, the gist of the show is there's this guy named Don Draper who you follow, who has seemingly he's very the kind of person that you look at him and you just see him as like either a machine or somebody who's like got it all figured out and just operates calm, cool, and collectedly. And he works for this advertising agency, and they're a smaller firm, but they have some big clients and stuff. And so it's him pitching ideas and everything, and it's kind of the drama that goes along with being in the '60s. And spoilers, he cheats on his wife all the time and has many affairs. He's like
is there gelatin desserts?
There sometimes
Or
is actually.
entrees?
There's a lot of smoking and a lot of drinking.
And hot dogs and mac and cheese.
Sure.
Wait, do you know why gelatin was really popular then?
Because they didn't know it was made out of animal bone? I don't know.
No, because that's when refrigeration became like a common household thing. So you could actually keep gelatin.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
Before then, I think it was like exclusive to rich people.
Like something you would have that day.
Yes.
So
let's put an entire rotisserie chicken in gelatin and call it good.
He would basically go around and like there's drama of like they make advertising drama, but the Mad Men are the people who work on Madison Avenue, and it's like they follow the story of this guy, and there's a lot more to him than meets the eye, because he turns out to not really be who he says he is.
He's a mad woman.
No, he's still a man.
This is
but
Caitlyn Jenner's story.
Yeah, but
Jesse, I would really hate to hear the long version of this.
I've kept it like under a minute. Not even kidding. I summarized a seven season show with 13 episodes, I think, in each season with like hour-long episodes. It is a ton of information. I've very effectively summarized that.
But now it's spoiled, and I have no desire to watch the show.
It's not spoiled at all.
But
yeah,
do you know what
already
you
spoiled
should
that
watch?
he's actually a woman.
What?
You should watch One Punch Man season 2.
One Punch.
I mean, I don't know. So
Okay,
No.
wait, real quick.
Yeah.
You guys have heard me talk crap on this company before, but I absolutely love their advertising, and I think they do the best advertising out there.
Please don't say Chevrolet.
No, I didn't know.
Okay.
I've
Chevrolet
never heard
was.
Alec talk crap on Chevrolet before.
Chevy
Yeah.
is in Mad Men eventually.
Interesting.
It's eventually.
I think it'd be like Volkswagen or something.
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen was one of the companies that like revolutionized advertising.
Yeah, the guy that started them had some pretty good ideas.
Yeah, well, it was just so different. Like it caught people's attention. But no, sorry, I was getting it like
Yeah, he had some different ideas.
Yeah, we're getting way off track.
no, I was getting at Apple. They like their advertising is far and away like the best out there. Specifically because everyone else is like, hey, look at this. This is our product. Here's what we have to offer. Apple's advertising approach is this is the experience you can have with our products. Like they don't try to sell you products. They try to sell you the experience.
I've never really noticed that before. Although I did just buy a new Apple product.
Really? What'd you buy?
What'd you get?
An iPhone 11.
Oh yeah, what do you think?
Ooh, you just bought the iPhone 10.
What was that, Jesse?
All you did was buy an iPhone 10.
Well, so I had an iPhone 7, and that's what I'd been using. And then for the past few months, I really noticed that like the charging port wasn't exactly working, both for like charging and, like headphones and stuff like that. Like it would keep kind of disconnecting, and it was one of those things like...
Oh, yeah, because Apple doesn't use the 3.5 millimeter jack anymore.
I'll take your word for that.
I'm actually going to argue in favor of Apple on this one because
Oh no.
yeah, I mean like I have a Samsung and I still have the headphone jack. I cannot tell you the last time I used it. Like I know that there's some people out there that, still use wired headphones, but I don't know why. Like Bluetooth headphones are really
I
cheap
use
now.
wired headphones, but
Dude, I don't like mine. Mine are falling apart. It's gotten to the point to where the button's stuck. So I kind of like to bang my headphones on the table to get the button unstuck, because you have to like push the button down and keep it down to like cycle it on and off. So it gets stuck. So it just keeps cycling until I hit it.
Okay,
and hopefully
well,
it stops on the cycle that's on or off. I guess the one I want.
Fun fact, that's called percussive maintenance.
oh my
That's
God.
the actual word for it, is percussive maintenance, hitting something until it works.
Wow. I wouldn't think there'd actually be a term for that, but the more you know.
Yeah.
So I think it was just like the inside of the charging port on my phone was getting too scratched up somehow. So I ended up having to get a new phone because like last week it was like it's just not charging. Like no cable, no angle, no like outlet like anywhere, whether it's on my wall or in my couch or from my computer or whatever. Like it's just not charging, and so when it dies, it's dead, and then I don't have a phone.
Do you still have it, or do you like sell it to get like the new one?
I still have it because again, it was a 7, so I'm a few generations behind. So I was like more than able to upgrade.
Well, try get like a new toothbrush and use that and gently like try to brush out the port.
Okay, because I did that with a toothpick to see if it was like any
that
pins or
is
anything
so much
in there.
worse.
Well, I wasn't like, carving away at the metal in there. I was just like trying to fish out anything, like not trying to like, just trying to go in the back and poke something out. And there was a little bit of lint in there, and I got it out, and it still like wasn't doing anything. But regardless, I have the new phone now, and it was like basically get an iPhone 10 or get an iPhone 11, which the guy said has like 1.5 times the battery life, blah, 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 gave a salesman pitch, and it was only $100 difference. So I figured, well, for that, I may as well just get the 11, which just came out. And so at least I'm like super current.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
well, I mean, if you keep it as long as you've had an iPhone 7, I think probably be more than worth the money.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I'm not too worried about it, but it's been definitely a little bit of a time getting used to the whole no more button thing. So
yeah, that's kind of a weird transition, but it's
what? Not even like a volume button or like a
no, they
big
have the
speed
volume
button?
buttons and stuff on the side, but like the home screen button, they got rid of that.
How they used to have
10.
the little circle?
Oh yeah,
That's
I don't
not
have one. I have a was S10, S9. What do I have? S9.
Hey, remember
Apple
when
made that
Apple
change with
products
the
are
10s
stupid?
and stuff too, but I just hadn't got one at that point, so it was just different for me being on a 7, which still had the button to switch to that. But what can you do? Times are changing.
Yeah, I know. I just want to go back to the time. I've always wanted a Motorola Razr. I never got one, ever.
Well, I think Motorola is making a new one that's like essentially like a folding phone that would work similarly to the Galaxy Fold, except it's going to be that like flip phone style. So it's just kind of like one long skinny phone. They're potentially doing something like that. I've heard rumors at least about that. I'm not sure if it's an actual thing.
I have a very distinct memory in high school. I had it was a Motorola Droid X or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was
the
just
Droid X. Yes, that was the thing.
Yeah. It was just like your standard typical brick phone, but it was during the time when all the flip phones and the slidey phones were cool. What were those called? It was the LG Chocolate was one of the really cool ones.
There was the Sidekick. That was a big one.
The Sidekick. Yeah, that's right. But I remember Dan Miller. He took my phone and he's like, "Look at Adam's phone. It's just a brick. It doesn't do anything cool," and that made me sad.
Oh,
and now all the phones are bricks.
Dan was mean to you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Jesse. All phones are bricks now. So
suck it, Dan.
You were ahead of the curve.
I know, right? God.
Man, okay, so how do you guys feel about Apple kind of leading the charge on no more USB ports, just USB-C?
Just USB-C?
Yeah, like the newer laptops are just USB-C.
Oh, the laptops.
I thought they've already been making the switch to their Lightning port or whatever, which I think
Lightning's not a thing anymore, I don't think.
Well,
really?
they still use Lightning for the iPhone chargers, which blows my mind because you'd think they'd want to go for the compatibility and get USB-C chargers for their phones, but
they
like
need
Adam,
to quit doing all these stupid port changes because all of a sudden I have like a cable drawer full of cables I never use anymore.
Well, and like me too. Like, anyways, like I went over to my drummer's house the other day to try and do some recording stuff, and he's just got like a 2-input audio interface, which basically it means that as far as recording goes, he has 2 microphones he can work with because there's only 2 inputs.
Right.
Which, whatever. But he was looking at upgrading to like a 4 or an 8 input one. And I have an 8 one here with me. So I said, I'm not really using it. I could just bring it here, let you kind of hold on to it for a while for our stuff and for your personal stuff and all that, because I don't use mine. But mine goes by Lightning port. And that was like a $1,200 piece of equipment. I bring it over I didn't bring it over. I went and looked at his laptop and he doesn't have any Lightning things because he's got like a brand new Mac that only has USB-C. So not only is it like the cords are outdated, but like this $1,200 piece of equipment is a year old and the only way it connects to the computer is via Lightning port, which now is basically obsolete. It sounds like.
Is it Lightning or Thunderbolt?
Thunderbolt's what I mean, my bad.
Okay, yeah, because Lightning is like the iPhone charger.
Yeah, whatever the storm cable is that goes to computers.
Well, so I think Thunderbolt,
the Cyclone port.
I think Thunderbolt refers to the speed at which it goes. So like you could get an adapter that would take care of that pretty easy because like the Apple USB-C ports are USB-C Thunderbolt, so they're really fast writing speeds.
Oh, got you. I thought Thunderbolt was the name of that shape of input.
I think it's just the writing speed. I could be wrong, but I think it's something else. It's like a USB Type B or something weird like that.
Yeah.
Because I think when you think USB, the very bricky one, that's like USB A. And then I think the Thunderbolt port you're talking about is USB B. And then USB C is the new one that everyone's switching to.
Okay. Well, then it's USB B or whatever, which I thought was... at the time that I bought that interface for myself, the guy that I bought it from, who works for a company called Sweetwater, which they're always amazing and super helpful getting stuff for me. So I don't think like he was trying to mislead me or anything, because I've worked with him for like 12 years, like on every purchase I've ever made with music, and he doesn't lead me astray. But I wanted to just get a USB A interface. And he's like, really, everything is kind of moving over to this thing. Like, I'd recommend going with that rather than getting one of our USB-A, models. And then I can't even use this at my drummer's house because his computer won't, doesn't. I mean, unless I guess I get an adapter, but it's frustrating.
Yeah,
I agree.
See, I think that's
we'll
good that everyone's moving that direction, though. I want everyone to be like, okay, USB-C, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I want everyone to just pick something, whatever it is, even if it's USB-A. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
I'm
what I'm saying.
starting to understand the Amish mentality a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's just keep it, stick it to 1 year and just call it good there. No more progress.
Absolutely agree. I just can't wait to the point to where all the writing speeds get so ridiculously fast that it doesn't matter. The whole 5G coming thing. Do we really need 5G?
That's getting into material properties and how fast we can send data down a pipeline or send an electronic signal through a pipe. So by that definition, yes, we do need 5G because we can move more data. You're thinking about it in terms of my human response time. Oh, I can hear somebody talking to me on the other side of the world with a millisecond of delay. Okay, fine. But how many things can a computer do in a second if you continue to increase and jack up how fast it can signal and return a command? So all this stuff of how fast it can write or how fast it can read and everything, if you keep upping the limits of how fast a signal can be sent, you can continue to upgrade the limits of what's possible and how fast a computer can think and how fast we solve problems. Literally right now, I think it was either Intel or another big silicon chip manufacturer just figured out a way to get past a fundamental material problem in the silicon chips that they've been using. And so if you look at all these solid state drives or whatever, it tells you how many gigahertz you can use it with, or how fast it'll read or write, how many times back and forth it can send the signal. And literally they broke through this barrier a year or so ago. We talked about it in our crystallography course, and it had to do with the crystallography of the silicon wafers that they make chips on. But because they have broken that boundary, now granted it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, but that is a step forward for quantum computing. So
okay, Jesse,
I realize we're not at that level, but for the things we're talking about with the phones, sure, it won't matter, but there's still something to be said about having a faster and faster piece of equipment.
Well, Jesse, I think you're thinking of Google. They just had a quantum computer that they built and they said it was they solved a problem with it or ran an algorithm through it that took it. They would take a normal supercomputer about 10,000 years to process this information, and this computer did it in about 200 seconds.
Yep.
Holy crap.
Yep.
That's the power of superposition, kids.
Superposition and really, really cold.
Yep.
Way to go, man.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they can do that, but all I need is to be able, all I need is 20 up, 20 down, and I'll be good.
Ew, gross. Me and my neighbor are actually switching over to the gigabyte internet that Fidelity is offering here in Rolla, because he and I are both paying, I think, $45 for internet a month, and gigabyte internet is $80 a month, and we live 2 apartments away from each other, and we tested it. He can get my internet. So if I upgrade, he'll pay me $40 a month, and for $5 left, I'm going to get 8 times faster internet. Remember, kids, gigabyte and megabyte, there's a difference, and it's 8 times the difference because giga and mega. I'm sorry, because the word byte, not because of the giga mega. Never mind.
Wait, is it 8 times the difference?
It's 8 times different. There are how many bytes you're sending a megabyte versus a gigabyte. It is not 1,000 times bigger like it is with the other stuff. It's
with the metric stuff.
Yeah, it's all about those metric doves, aka pigeons, aka London is dumb and stupid.
Just regular European doves.
Hashtag July 4th, 1776.
And I quote Ron Swanson, history began on July 4th, 1776. Everything else before that is a prequel.
Mm-hmm. Back-to-back World War champs, am I right?
That's
R.I.P.
So,
which
yes.
kind of brings us back to Volkswagen.
And that's what we're calling it. We're not talking about that anymore.
Anyway, well, let's wrap it up, guys. So instead of doing the usual "Would you rather" question,
oh my god, I don't like change.
I know, I'm sorry. Anyway, so we're gonna change it up a little bit, going on theme. We're going with the most overrated candy, since it's near Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, can we get a second to think about that?
Yeah. I can start because I've come up with the question. So anyway, my girlfriend won't like it. Won't like this because she likes it, but I think Three Musketeers are overrated.
Okay,
Ooh,
that's rude.
Yeah, I
disagree, but
no, it's just
their own.
the filling in it is like basically tasteless, like marshmallow sugar.
Okay, but have you eaten all the chocolate off the outside first and then eaten the inside? Because if you haven't, you're an idiot.
No, I don't like Three Musketeers because of the inside. I'd probably just eat the chocolate off of it and then throw away the rest of it.
You're an animal.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, basically, a Three Musketeers is a worse version of a Snickers. Let's be honest.
No, it is a separate experience altogether.
Adam, shut up. You're dumb.
Adam, do you like Milky Ways?
A little
they're
too
all
sweet,
right.
but
the
okay.
The caramel, we're starting to get there with the caramel, but what really does it is is it peanuts? Yeah, peanuts.
No, it's the nougat. That's what does it.
Oh, no, not at all. Anyway, Andrew.
Skittles.
Skittles
are
good.
hot garbage.
That's a good
The
one.
only good Skittle is a sour Skittle because all Skittles period, but Skittles in general, I feel like are very, very like hard to chew. Like they're just like harder than they should be. I'm also in general, I guess, a little biased because I don't really care for fruit candies, but I just feel like Skittles are just like hard to chew and not good and fruity, but like not convincingly fruity, which is why the sour ones are actually okay because it like really kind of pops through. But I'm going Skittles. Most overrated candy because people are like really religious about them too.
Fair enough. Juice Boy.
I was gonna say something about Butterfingers because I like those only once in like a blue moon because like every time like as a kid you don't notice, but when you get older, oh wait, you know what? No, I have it. Reese's peanut butter cups, not the bigger ones.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? Sometimes the bigger ones, but typically the tiny ones like that are individually wrapped in like the size of a Hershey's Kiss. Every time you bite into it, the like center is weird tasting and it's like chalky. Some of the bigger ones that you buy are really good. And don't get me wrong, like all the bar versions of things that Reese's makes, I guess Hershey's makes, all the bar versions of a Reese's are delicious, like Nutrageous and
Fast Break.
Oh my God, Fast Breaks are those are my travel snacks. Those are so good.
Yeah, that's the go-to.
Yeah, or the King
really
Sticks
good.
or whatever, like they're called the Reese's Sticks. All of those are really good.
Already?
Yeah, Nutrageous, we got that.
Okay.
And like all those, they're so good, but the like individually wrapped ones, the peanut butter always tastes so dried out and gross. And everybody's like, you gotta love a Reese's. It's like, no, you don't. It's probably gonna make you choke and cough to death.
I'm actually kind of with you on that, Jesse. And like chocolate peanut butter is one of my favorite combos of all time. But how do you feel about like the Reese's cups? They're like holiday themed, like the Christmas tree Reese's cups or like the pumpkin ones. Like I feel like somehow those end up being better than the cups
First bite,
even though
first bite's
they're
really
not
it's
like
the
good.
ratio.
And then you get to the center and you're like,
is the
chalk.
ratio different for those?
I think so.
I mean, like
There's more
probably a
peanut
little
butter.
bit, but like
There's more peanut butter than chocolate.
I don't know. Join us on next episode of Conspiracy.
Wait, Alec
Corner.
hasn't given his yet.
Yeah, I know.
No, he's just
Anyway,
Alec.
Alec.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
got you. I thought you were seriously moving
we're
on.
gonna talk about the Reese's peanut butter cup peanut to chocolate ratio next week. Hey, Alec.
Honestly, like most overrated Snickers.
But they satisfy.
I can see it.
Well, it's like they're not bad. I just
They
think
don't
they're overrated
they don't
like
taste
I feel
great.
I kind of feel like they have like this reputation of being like one of the best candy bars, and it's like, you know what? Sometimes I just want to have a candy bar, and I don't want to be picking like little bits of peanut out of my teeth for the next 3 hours. You know?
Honestly, Snickers are basically protein bars.
Something like that. Well, Alec, you're not you when you're hungry.
You're right.
No, I can understand that. And so, how do you feel about Butterfinger? Those definitely get stuck in your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those are different because it's they're, don't get me wrong, like they're all good, but like with Butterfingers, it's like they don't get like little bits stuck between your teeth. It actually like sticks to your teeth, like whatever that material is that like when you bite onto it like gets stuck to the tops and bottoms of your molars,
something or whatever.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I mean, like Butterfingers I think are better than Snickers, but they do have that like sticky effect on your teeth, and I don't like that.
All right, fair enough.
Dude, Fast Break. Can we all agree that Fast Break is like the best candy bar?
It's the best.
I don't know about best, but definitely a top 5.
Absolutely. But anyway, join us next week in Conspiracy Corner, where we'll be creating a Venn diagram of all of the Reese's peanut butter to chocolate ratios.
Or whatever he was trying to say. Talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
See y'all.
Bye.
Skittles in general, I feel like are very, very like hard to chew. Like they're just like harder than they should be, which also describes me right now.
Oh my God. Andrew, I'm taking that out.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.